We'll need more cowbell.
You can never have enough cowbell.
Yeah! Killing in the name of... Woo!
Cheers, bro.
Alright. Welcome to the Legendary League Podcast. Over here with my brother Casey and Abroda. Keep the intro short and sweet because we got a lot of shit to talk about.
I do.
Alright. Just two of us tonight, so we're going to keep this real simple. I guess it'll be entertaining and rock on. Alright. Tonight is what, Wednesday?
Yep.
Wednesday. Yep. How was your week, fantasy football?
First week, kind of hit or miss. Your league did really, really well. My other leagues I did like shit, but Legendary League is what it's all about.
Hey, buddy, this league's the only one that matters.
It's the only one that matters.
Cheers. Alright. So we're gonna jump into some news, notes, and some injury updates. Yes. This was a rough week for injuries.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
one in particular.
The first week. I mean, it's just like, you know, it's like just like fucking you in the ass with no lube.
You just drafted him, and he's down. The only thing worse is when you draft him and he gets injured in preseason.
That would be worse. That would be worse.
Look at this guy, Edelman.
Edelman, yes.
Killing me.
Bring me back to my Jordy Nelson days.
Yeah, right.
Jesus. Alright, so, first guy we gotta talk about, I mean, the number one consensus pick in the draft, David Johnson.
David Johnson.
David Johnson!
It's a damn shame.
Oh, who had David Johnson again?
Alex.
Oh, Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
That's what you get for not showing up. Hunk. Alright, so yeah, David Johnson, he went down, to me, honestly, he didn't look good in that game. He looked like the Lions definitely had his number. He still managed to get like 10 points, but he played the majority of that game. Yeah. He went down in the fourth quarter. They're saying it's a sprained wrist, and from Stefania Bell, ESPN, she's basically like their injury reporter, like analyst, and I don't think she's a doctor, but
yeah, I thought it was a ligament. She needs surgery. It's just a sprain?
No, it's a sprained wrist, but she said that it's basically completely dislocated, so it's going to require surgery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know, I've never had, like, a broken arm or wrist, but I've had a broken pinky before, and that shit took a while to heal, and it was just a pinky.
It sucks, but then again, when you get paid millions, it's called you pop the shit back in and you man the fuck up.
Yeah, but you know, the first helmet he gets to that wrist...
Yeah, not to mention, you gotta carry the ball, you've got, people come and try to strip it, you've got a weak wrist, your phone.
It's not his ACL, it's not a hamstring, it's nothing to do with his feet, so that's a good sign. It is his wrist, but, all signs are pointing to, 3 to 4 months.
Yep.
So, 2 to 3 months, I guess.
2 to 3 months in the entire fantasy season.
Yeah, I heard Bruce Arians, the coach today on Sirius XM Radio, saying that he's not expecting to come back till Christmas. Yeah. I mean, that's the end of fantasy football. I mean, you're getting them in your championship, It's like, and then, if the team's not in playoff contention, why are they going to risk rolling him out there and getting hurt again? So
yeah.
It's, I don't know. Some of you guys out there have hope for David Johnson that he may come back. I personally would drop him and just say goodbye to him for the rest of the year.
I agree with that. The good thing that you have is that injured reserve spot.
True.
So you might as well throw him in that injured reserve spot because you're not going to use it for much anyway.
Which I saw Alex did.
He did,
job,
yeah.
But,
now, I mean, say if another person goes down, like, let's say Doug Baldwin on his team goes down, but it's only a 2-week thing, I would at that point drop David Johnson and then put Baldwin into that spot.
Yeah, I mean, that IR spot is put there for that reason.
Yeah.
And David Johnson's like the poster child for that. I mean, he's your number 1 pick. You don't want to drop him. You don't want to get rid of him. There's hope that he might come back and play even 1 game.
Yeah.
You know, put him in the IR, see what happens. You know, and then roll with it.
Yeah.
Sucks to be you, Alex. Sorry.
Bottom line, I think David Johnson is done for this year. That's for sure. But next year, it's either a bounce back or still recovering from an injury, and he's dog shit. So we'll see what next year has to offer for David Johnson.
Yeah, I think he'll be good. I don't think he'll be good next year. We'll see what happens.
I don't know, man. It's always like the number 1 pick curse.
Yeah.
Whoever's number 1 is they go down. It's almost like the Madden curse.
Yep. That's why you don't pick running backs in the first round. They get hurt too easily.
Right.
Anyway, moving on. You didn't pick this guy in the first round, but I'm sure he definitely meant something to your team. Allen Robinson.
Oh.
If he wasn't your second wide receiver, he was definitely your third in the draft. You know, not as big as a loss as David Johnson, obviously, but a pretty big loss. He was the number 1 wide receiver for his team. He meant a lot to that team. Although I do think that they're going to run the ball with Leonard Fournette a lot. The volume was still definitely there.
Absolutely.
He tore his ACL. He's going to be out for the rest of the season.
Absolutely.
So, really not much to say with him. He's pretty much done. An interesting guy coming up next is Danny Woodhead.
Mm-hmm.
He has a hamstring strain. Not really sure what that means.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a hamstring.
A hamstring could definitely be a lingering injury. Now, granted, their doctors are fantastic. They could fix it up, real quick. But hamstring tends to be like a lingering injury. Even when you recover and you think you're good, it takes 1 cut move and you're back on the ground.
I would lean towards the negative side with Danny Woodhead because he's like 45 years old.
And the funny thing about it is, I spoke with Joe quite a few times today, and the only thing out of his mouth was fucking Danny Woodhead. Reason why is because he says he absolutely hated Danny Woodhead, did not want to draft him, but he rode the hype train. You're Danny Woodhead, PPR machine. He's here to play.
Hey,
he drafted him.
I'm not gonna lie. The hype train is a lot of fun. It reminds me a lot of like the Harry Potter, the Hogwarts Express.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I
lot
had a
like
picture
that.
for Harry Potter fan.
Oh, huge, huge.
The fact that you say like huge means it's legit.
Dude, it's legit, man. I haven't read the books, but I've seen all the movies at least 5 times each.
It's cool. I can't read either.
Yeah, I can't. It would take me a year to read 1 book, and I just don't have that kind of time.
No, we're too busy with fantasy football.
That's right. We're too busy with fantasy football. Okay.
What we got next?
My wife, she reminds me often that, it's fantasy football, right? It's not real football. And I said, I know that. She's like, you're playing with...
Fantasy is always better than real life.
I know, right? Exactly. That's it, yeah.
That's why it's a fantasy.
She's like, you're spending all this time, devoting your time to fantasy football. I'm like, yeah. So?
Absolutely.
What up? Anyway, moving on. Danny Woodhead. He is out 4 to 8 weeks. Expectedly. I don't know. Whatever. He's old.
I think that's a perfect one to go in the injured reserve spot because he could come back. He can come back sooner.
Is he even on the injured? I don't think he's...
Yeah, Joe put him on the injured reserve.
Oh, yeah, okay, good.
Yeah. He could definitely come back, but like I said, it could be a lingering injury.
We're going to get into the waiver wire pickups of the week, but I just want to say that, a nice play for him would be like Javoris Allen, Buck Allen. He's a good... he's the exact same player as Danny Woodhead, he's just a lot younger. So.
Yeah.
And I know that we didn't talk about David Johnson's replacement or Allen Robinson. We'll get into that in the waiver wires, but they have some guys that you might be able to slide in place of them. All right, next on the list, surprise, surprise, Kevin White, broken shoulder blade. I mean, the guy has been in the league for 3 years. He's played 2 games. So, really nothing you can say about that. He's out for the season. This one hits a little close to home.
Yeah, it does.
Big fan of this guy. I got his jersey. I was really excited when he signed with the Patriots back in 2014. You know, I went out and bought his jersey. He came from the I think it was the Rams. Yeah, he came from the Rams.
Amendola came from the Rams?
Yeah. Danny Amendola. Yeah, he's got a concussion. It's not.
What is concussion protocol? It's 4 weeks, right?
No, it's week to week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's week to week. If he's doing good and he's passing all these tests that the NFL.
I thought ever since they went through that whole CET thing or whatever, they've been playing it real safe. And I thought it was a mandatory for a week.
No, I did a little research on him today, and it says he's week to week. So he has. The good thing about that, he played last Thursday. He's not playing till this Sunday, so that's 10 days.
Yeah.
So he does actually have time to play.
Yeah.
It just depends on how he progresses. I don't think he's had any concussions in the past. Mm-hmm. So that's a positive note.
That's definitely a positive. After you get a few, they become
you don't recover as fast.
No. Not only that, but it takes a slight hit to get a concussion.
Right. You're right.
Yep.
You're right. That's true. So I hope he gets back soon. We're definitely gonna miss him.
Yeah. Hate the Patriots. I like Amendola.
But that makes Chris Hogan like a fucking stud.
Yep.
He's the number 2 wide receiver on that team right now, which is great. All right, and in some minor injury news, Deshaun Watson had an ankle sprain. He's still gonna play this week. No big deal. But what I thought was funny is I was kind of researching some injury updates, and I knew that C.J. Fedorowicz with the Houston Texans, but he went out this week with a concussion. But I did not know that their second string and their third string tight end also went out with a concussion this week. So all 3 of their tight ends, boom, concussion. Yeah. So no tight ends for the Houston Texans this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. Shane, you if you want to go ahead and maybe apply or try out for the Houston Texans tight end, you might get the job. You could be like a Kurt Warner story all fucking over again. Oh shit, that's great. All right, that's pretty much it for the news and the injury updates. I'm gonna. Nice. I love the sound of new beers cracking. That's great. Great. All right, so I'm gonna pass it over to my bro Casey over here. We're gonna go over a little bit of what you would call the.
No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us.
You can't stop us now. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm in a Rage Against the Machine mood tonight. Little grandma. Just a little bit. Alright, so Casey's gonna go over some interesting matchups, or just some matchups, period.
Yeah, I'm just gonna break down who's going against who, starting with myself going against the Brodo. And we'll go on from there. I'm going to pick out a few players that I like, don't like, who they're going up against for whatever reason. Maybe we can give everybody a little bit of insight. Right. A little bit of Grandma Toast.
Little Grandma Toast. There we go. Cheers.
All right. First, start off, I love my team. I absolutely fucking love my team.
I love it.
I love it. We were just discussing before we came on here a few changes that I could have made. different matchups. Who would be best? I added Deshaun Jackson back to the roster. I'm a huge fan. I think the combo between him and Mike Evans is going to be legendary this season. Legendary. The rest of my team, I mean, I fucking love it. Sean's team as well. He made that trade for Melvin Gordon. Great.
Boss.
And which, I was speaking with Jonathan earlier, it was a completely fair trade on both aspects. Sean needed the running back, Jonathan needed the receiver. Works out for both parties. Rest of Sean's lineup, AJ Green, Jordan Matthews, he's got a very solid team. It's going to be a really, really close week. Not that we always go off of the projection, but 123 to 121. It's going to be a very close week, just depending on matchups there. Going on to the next one, we've got Jonathan against Mark Picarazzi. We've got
Mark P.
Jonathan has Russell Wilson as his quarterback. I've got Russell Wilson in a few leagues. I like him. Marshawn Lynch, who I talked a lot of shit in the previous podcast about. I thought Marshawn Lynch was going to come back as a bitch. I didn't think he was going to be the Marshawn Lynch that we've seen in the past and just trucking over people. But guess what? Week 1, how many fucking broken tackles did he have?
Yeah.
How many people did he just run straight through for extra yardage after first contact? It was awesome. That's hands down. That's my upside of the week was Marshawn Lynch absolutely killed it. After that, he's got Crowell. I'm a huge Crowell fan.
Just real quick on Marshall, I think he's gonna have a 2 touchdown week. I mean, he's going against the Jets too.
Oh yeah,
that's
of course.
Of
course, yeah.
He may not.
That plus a shit ton of yards. I think he's just gonna keep trucking them over more and more.
I think with this game, I think you're gonna see a lot of DeAndre Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're gonna see a lot of them because they're gonna preserve him.
You've got a good point. There's no reason to really burn him out against the Jets.
He'll get the goal line carries. That's why I'm projecting for 2 touchdowns, maybe even 3.
Yeah.
But I think they're gonna preserve him a little bit because they kind of know this is gonna be like a hammy game. So I love Marshall. He looks so good in this first game. And I wasn't big on him at all.
Not at all. I avoided him in every draft because I thought he was a bust.
Right. I did get him in one, and he came to fruition for me for this week. But and the next week is gonna be good, and this week coming up is gonna be great. So, but he's one of those guys where he's gonna need that rest. He's older, So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought he was great in week 1. I see huge potential throughout the rest of the season. He just leads with his head so much. The only thing I'm worried about with Marshawn Lynch would be a concussion. The rest of him, he's a solid fucking running back. After that, we've got Isaiah Crowell. I am probably the biggest Isaiah Crowell fan. I had him last year, in which case he scores 30 points, or he does kind of poorly. But I love to see that upside. We're all in the best ball leagues. Crowell would be a solid go-to in a best ball league because sometimes he did have a blowout.
He had a tough matchup against the Steelers this week.
Yeah.
It's a division game. The Steelers are pretty stout in defense with their run blocking. So I expect better things from him. He didn't have a bad week, but expect better things from him.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's the thing is he's with the Cleveland Browns. So if you don't put him in the position to score, he's got to do it all on his own. You know what I mean? So there's sometimes that he does it all on his own, and he's great. And there's other times that not so much. After that, Jonathan's got Allen Robinson. Now we did have this hurricane just come through, and that Jonathan's battling with. He's got 0 cell phone reception. His house does not have power. That's definitely a lineup change that he's going to need to make. After that, Amari Cooper, Greg Olsen, Demaryius Thomas.
I'm pretty sure he has Allen Hurns, though.
What's that?
Does he have Allen Hurns?
Oh, on his bench?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, so that would be.
No, it's a simple lineup change, but without having cell phone service, how are you going to make that change?
Exactly.
So that's something that is definitely going to need to be brought to his attention. But after that, the rest of his lineup is stellar. Amari Cooper, Greg Olsen, Demaryius Thomas, Broncos D, and Gostkowski. So
by the way, so far out of all the league that lives in Florida, we survived. So Cool. We survived Hurricane Irma.
Irma's
I don't know about anybody else, but we're here. We're bringing you the Legendary League podcast every week.
Post-Hurricane.
Post-Hurricane.
He's going against Mark. James Winston, I talked about earlier. I think he's got a great team with Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans. The team is just looking solid this year.
And guess who's going against? The Bears.
The
Bears.
The rest of Mark's team is having a heart attack over there. The rest of his team's looking really nice. Blunt, McCaffrey, Julio Jones, Hopkins, Gronkowski, Sammy Watkins, and Crosby. On to the next one, we got
Would that be the Mason Crosby? The Mason Crosby Dixon one?
Mason Crosby Dixon. Oh shit. Next matchup, we've got William Hunt's Horse, against Alex Marshall, NWA. Let's start with Alex's team. Aaron Rodgers, fucking solid quarterback. Mark Ingram, not a huge fan of him, but solid. Going against New England, who Sean just pointed out is the worst defense to the rush so far this season.
So far this season, yes.
So far this season, which makes Mark Ingram a decent start. I'm not a huge fan of him, so I'm kind of on the border with him at the moment.
I'm gonna go make a bold prediction that Alvin Kamara.
Bold prediction.
Alvin Kamara has a better fantasy relevant game than Mark Ingram or Adrian Peterson for that matter, because they both suck in their roles. Anyway.
Adrian Peterson. I cringe when I hear Adrian Peterson. Rest of the team: Doug Baldwin, Sterling Shepard, Jimmy Graham, Randall Cobb. He's got some solid players on his bench though, with the exception of David Johnson being a total bitch.
David Johnson was like, man, vacation's great.
Yeah, right.
Football? Nah, I'm good.
Overall, Alex has a super solid team, including his bench. This week, a little shaky. He's going up against Huntsworth's Will, Tom Brady. I mean, other than this guy, who's really a fan of Tom Brady, but let's give it to him. Tom Brady is Tom Brady for a reason.
Tom Brady's gonna Tom Brady. You know
Tom Brady's Tom Brady. You can't take anything away from him. He's gonna be Tom Brady. Next, we got Bilal Powell. Yes, he's with the Jets, and yes, he's going against Oakland. But Bilal Powell has proven himself to be pretty freaking solid. After that, Le'Veon Bell. I don't like Le'Veon Bell.
Bell didn't have a great showing this week, but you know what? He missed all of the mandatory
practices. Yeah. He showed up when nobody else was there. Their only off day, he showed up. Just I don't know what his chemistry is with the rest of the team, but I can't imagine that it's good. I can't imagine that it's a solid chemistry. We're bartenders. If you just disappeared for 2 months and then showed up out of the blue, I tell you, go fuck yourself. Yeah,
it'd be weird.
Yeah, just a little bit. You know what I mean?
It would be a little bit out of sync.
No, for sure. I played football my entire life. I was a running back my entire life. It's all about the timing of your linemen. I knew that in high school that our left guard Ian was much faster than our right guard. You know what I mean? So if it was a running play to the right, I didn't have to take a stutter step. If it was a running play to the left, I'd have to take a stutter step. Those are the simple things, the very minute things that make a huge difference, especially at the level of the NFL. That you know who are your linemen, you know what their performance level is, you know who you're going up against. You know that it's a simple thing. Barry Sanders was the best about it. The stutter step, the knowing his linemen, and knowing what time to hit the holes, all of that is chemistry within the team. And I just don't see it with Le'Veon Bell this season, or at least anywhere soon in the first half of the season. It takes time to build that, and he kind of came in a little bit late.
The fact of the matter is that you have to be there. it's not like they just rolled over and like, oh, we're the same team and there were from last year as this year. No, there were some changes made. There was a lot of things changed for every team out there. There's no team out there that's the same as last year.
Exactly.
And Le'Veon Bell's gonna eventually be Le'Veon Bell, but it may take a few weeks. And I saw it this week. I went and watched tape, the tape on him, and he didn't look like him. Ben wasn't looking his way. Usually you see him, checking down, and he's doing his thing and getting some good yardage, but Ben wasn't even looking his way. He was looking at guys like Jesse James.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy, I'm glad that somebody went out there.
Go back to build motorcycles.
I'm glad. Exactly. I'm glad somebody went out there and spent a lot of money on him. I'm going to tell you who did in a minute. But I'm glad somebody did, because that guy's not going to have a fucking fantasy relevant season or game or week for the rest of the season. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Because once Le'Veon Bell and Ben, they have dinner together, Ben wines and dines him, and they get on the same page, forget about it. The tight ends will not be relevant in that game, or in that team anymore, because you have Antonio Brown, and you have Martavis Bryant, Le'Veon Bell. You don't need anybody else. You don't need anybody else. Three of the best players in the fucking league. You don't need anybody else.
Yeah.
Come on.
I agree with you. I just think, I don't know, man. It's going to take some time for Le'Veon Bell to create that chemistry. And I'm a little worried about that. Going back to the rest of Wolves' team, Dez Bryant, huge fan of Dez Bryant. Again, he's going against Denver's D, so I don't know how well he is this week. Kelvin Benjamin.
Denver's D.
Kelvin Benjamin, which I've picked him up in quite a few, especially best ball leagues. Reason why is because this is Cam Newton's comeback season. I totally see Cam Newton
call it a comeback.
Having a baller year. His go-to is Kelvin Benjamin. I'm not saying that it's going to be consistent every single week, but I do like Kelvin Benjamin. He's a good person to have on your team. And guess who's got the flex? Tyreek Hill, who has been a fucking stud. Stud.
Tyreek the freak!
If I had to make a prediction for this week, I'd give it to Will.
If I could just interject real quick.
Go for it.
I love everything you're saying, but when you're talking Cam up, I mean, I'm all on board. I am on the Cam ship, if you would say. But
You're on camera?
I'm on camera. But I'm going to say that Kelvin Benjamin, KB as I like to call him, is not going to be the beneficiary of his receptions. I think Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen is the number one target.
And where I agree with you. I agree with you that he'll be the number one, like, he'll get the receptions there. But Kelvin Benjamin, dude, he makes plays.
I will agree with you that he's definitely going to be a red zone target, which is always good. He could get 6 points for one catch, and instead of getting like McCaffrey getting 6 receptions for 5 yards, 10 yards, So it basically equals the same. I just think that he's going to be looking at Greg Olsen.
You've got a major point, especially PPR wise. You've got a major point there where like the amount of passes thrown to him makes a huge difference. I don't know, man. I've always been a fan of Kelvin Benjamin just because like you'll see him on highlight tapes, like on ESPN.
Oh, he's a beast.
Yeah, week to week, like
he's a
beast.
beast.
I love people that make plays happen, not that like their team gives it to them. Like Gostkowski for New England, the kicker. You know what I mean? Like it's given to him. They're always in the in the kicking zone, so he's a great kicker. You know what I mean? Like. Kelvin Benjamin makes shit happen. I love that about him. I think it's Cam's comeback year, so the combination between them.
I agree with
Kelvin Benjamin.
I love Cam. I love the fact that McCaffrey's on the team because
I think it's hands down like everybody's a fan of McCaffrey. I don't think there's a single hater of McCaffrey.
He's just a special guy, man.
Yeah.
He is a special guy. When he touches the football, he makes some things happen. So,
absolutely.
Great selection by the Panthers. I was just in Panther country recently. Actually, I just came back from North Carolina, Charlotte area, and It was crazy. Like those, I was there at D9 Brewing. If you've heard of that, if you've never heard of it, it's a great company and some really good beer. But I was there for this past Sunday's game, and man, there was nothing but fucking blue and black everywhere, and I'm standing there with my Patriots sweatshirt on, and
of course you were.
yeah, because it was like 60 degrees, man. It was freezing up there.
I gotta interrupt and say that I can't help but like just smile when I see Sean, the porn star, with the facial hair he has going on right now. It's almost hard to listen to the words coming out of his mouth. You look a mixture between Weekend at Barney's and porn star. I might as well operate you the rope. Oh shit! All right, let's continue. We've only got a few left to go. We got Team Buckets against Bloodbath and Beyond. Joe Mondello against Shane McManus.
Yes.
So Joey Buckets. He's a New York Giants fan and he drives for Eli. I fucking hate Eli. I think he's like, you've always got like the retarded brother and the smart brother. I think he's the retarded one. Lamar Miller, Mike Gillisley, Odell Beckham, Travis Kelce. Joe's got a freaking solid team. Bloodbath and Beyond, Shane, he's got Cam Newton. We've all agreed Cam Newton is like his comeback year. He's coming at it. Ezekiel Elliott, Antonio Brown, T.Y. Hilton. Geez, Shane has a fucking solid team. Let's look at the bench. Bench looks solid for Shane. He's even got the injured reserve spot. Joe's battling that Woodhead injury. But Joe picked up Cohen. He had a great week in week 1. He's going against Tampa Bay in week 2. I don't think it's going to be nearly quite the same week. But Joe has a great bench. So Joe has options.
I want to real quick just refer to the GroupMe app to some comments discussed between these two teams.
Absolutely, I've been completely out of it. I've been working so much through this hurricane that I haven't seen a single GroupMe for the past like 3 days. So I'm totally lost. Fill me in.
It's all good. So Joey Buckets over here was pretty confident with his week 1 win, but he was very happy and pleased to draw Shane McManus as his week 2 opponent. He said that Joey, in quote, said, "The Buckets camp will be studying tape of our opponent, and come Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, we will be ready for them on the gridiron." As fate would have it, week 2 has me paired up against the one, the only Shane McManus, Bloodbath Beyond. Should I say, Bloodbath and Tampon. Ooh, I like it.
It's really, really good to hear that because I was drafting next to Joe the entire time, and the entire time, every pick he'd look over to me and go, I hate my team. So it's good to see that he's enjoying his team and he's making the best of it. I think it's a solid team. He's got both starters and backups. So season long, I think Joey Buckets will be solid.
I think it'll be solid.
I give this week matchup. I give this week to Shane for sure.
To be contrarian, I'm gonna pick Joey Buckets. I love you, Shane, but I'm gonna pick Joey Buckets just to see what happens. You like Shane's team, I like Joey Buckets. He did pick up Cohen. I'm not sure if he's gonna start him or not. He spent a lot of money on Cohen.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Joey Buckets got Gillisley had a great week in week 1, and he picked up Cohen, who had a great week in week 1. Mm-hmm. Now Cohen is on his bench. He's starting Gillisley. I don't think Gillisley's going to have nearly the week in week 2 that he had in week 1. Odell Beckham, I'm still a little iffy about. The rest of his team is super, super solid. I love the rest of his team, except for Eli Manning, because I think Eli's a fucking retard. But, I don't know, I just think the consistency of Shane's team outweighs the upside of Joe's team. You could be totally right. The upside of Joe's team is fantastic. Joe has great upside, but I don't like the fact that Gillislee had a great week 1. I don't think it's going to happen in week 2. Odell Beckham is coming back, and what's his status? You know, does anybody really know what he's going to be able to put out in week 2? I'm a little iffy. Whereas Shane's team is consistent.
You're right.
It's going to be good. Like we know that it's going to be good. It's going to be at least projected 124. It's at least 124.
Like the 311 song, it's going down.
It's going down.
Alright. You know what? Taking a second look at Shane's team, I'm going to go with him too. I don't think he's leading. I don't think Joey Buck is winning this week. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, Joey has great upside. It can be really, really great for him, but consistency-wise, I give it to Shane. Next up is the best named team in the league, Chicken Fucker. Chicken Fucker. He didn't even have to look. It's Chicken Fucker. Alright, so we got Chicken Fucker. Chicken Fucker going up against Liquor Breath, which is Mark Fletcher.
Fletch.
Let's see. Alright, Chicken Fucker. You drafted Drew Brees really, really early, but for a reason, Drew Brees is awesome. Frank Gore, old as shit. I hate Frank Gore. Amir Amendola. I passed on him. I don't think he's all that great this year. Jordy Nelson, awesome. Terrell Pryor, Jason Witten. I don't know about Jay's team too much this week.
I took a look at this matchup earlier. I like Mark's team a lot. I mean, he's got Sammy Biscuits going against. Who's he going against?
He's going against Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh. Yeah. I mean, it's not gonna. He's not gonna have as good as a week as he had last week, but he's still gonna be good. He's gonna be checked down Charlie.
It's not ideal, but he's backing up with.
He's got Devontae Freeman.
I'm a huge fan of Devontae Freeman. Huge fan.
Devontae Freeman is going to score at least 2 touchdowns this week. I mean, he's going against Green Bay, which is kind of known for their run defense, but holy shit, dude. They're gonna be throwing all over them anyway. Like Devontae Freeman is going to be on at least 5 to 6 carries on the goal line, so. We'll see what happens.
Alright, and then after that, Dalvin Cook, Martavius Bryant, Michael Thomas, Kareem Hunt, Chiefs defense. Mark's got a stellar team. It's not anything bad against Jay's team. Mark's got a stellar team. I would honestly put Mark's team against pretty much anybody else in the league for this week. It's a stellar fucking team. I think this is a hands down win for Mark this week. We're going to move on to the next one. We've got Pile of Stool. I'd probably say second best team name in the league.
Definitely.
That's going to be David Newman.
It's a solid number 2. That's a solid number 2.
That's a solid number 2. Not to mention that he has the shit emoji as his icon. It's well played, sir. Well played.
Genius, yeah.
He's going against Davenport Predators, which is Kevin Webster. He's been on the podcast before. We all know him. So, Pile of Stool, Phillip Rivers, solid. C.J. Anderson, solid. Howard, solid. Fitzgerald, I think Fitzgerald is great. Mike Evans, yes. Macklin, I really, really like Pile of Stool's team this week. Going against Carr, I think he's a solid quarterback. We've discussed this previously in best ball leagues. I'm a big fan of Carr, but he brought to my attention that he's not all that great in PPR.
Carr has about 3 to 4 good matchups this year. Mm-hmm. This week is going to be one. He's going against the Jets.
Exactly.
So, I mean, expect big things from Carr this week. But, temper your expectations in the upcoming weeks for sure.
Yep. Then we move on to DeMarco Murray and Jay Ajayi. Jay Ajayi is a name that, completely fell off in week 1. I didn't hear his name mentioned a single time.
Yeah, because he didn't play.
Okay, he didn't play?
No.
Okay, I was about to say,
the game got postponed.
Oh shit, that's right. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I didn't hear his name a single fucking time.
Since the draft, Jay Ajayi just fell off. I was like, who?
Exactly. I completely forgot that. I completely forgot they postponed that game, but I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, Jay Ajayi, what the fuck happened to him in week 1? Alright, so Jay Ajayi, Jarvis Landry, those are both 2 people that clearly didn't have anything in week 1. Then we move on to Stefon Diggs. Fantastic week 1. Fantastic.
He did.
For his tight end, Hunter Henry, he's got Ty Montgomery for his flex. Ty Montgomery, I'm not totally sold on, but I'm becoming a fan. Although he's going against Atlanta, and Atlanta is a solid team. I would put this as a really, really balanced matchup. It's hard to say exactly who's going to win because you haven't seen Miami play yet. We know that Ajayi is awesome. Landry is awesome. So how are they going to perform in week 2 as their first week? Along with, is Diggs going to perform the same way that he performed in the past? I would say this is probably our one of our best matchups next to me and Sean. I think me and Sean are going to be down to the fucking gritting of teeth.
It shall be good, my friend. May the
It
best
shall be
man
good.
win.
It shall be good. Those are 2 great matchups. Other than that, just to recap, I think those are going to be the 2 closest matchups. The rest of them we kind of gave you, how we feel on either way, going back and forth. After this, we're going to discuss a little bit of the overall games, not necessarily players, but overall game matchups. What's going to be good? What's going to be like a hands down blowout? Like we were mentioning earlier, the Raiders against the Jets is the highest money line I have ever seen for NFL football. The last time I checked on Bovada, it was like minus 3,000 for the Raiders. It was absolutely absurd. I've never seen anything close to that before.
The Jets are terrible, that's for sure.
All right, so I'm going to pass it off to Sean. You're going to take over for the game matchups.
The game matchups, yeah. Dude, I got hiccups, man. It sucks.
All right, we'll do a shot.
Alright! Ooh! Just warming up.
Great song, man.
Alright! Woo! That was good.
Yeah.
I got the hiccups though. Anyway, moving on. We got some matchups that I'm particularly interested in this week. The Thursday night game between the Houston Texans and the Cincinnati Bengals. Excuse me. I'm only interested in that game because I have a couple players on the team.
Quite a few.
Quite a few. I'm only starting AJ Green and Eifert.
Damn.
Man, yeah, they're bad.
Yeah.
Alright. That's personally, I'm interested in that game. Otherwise, that game sucks.
I'm personally interested because I'm playing his punk ass.
Boom. The next game on the list. Oh man. Cleveland and Baltimore. That's going to be a great game to watch. I think it's going to go either way.
Get rid of it, man. What's the next game you're interested in?
Oh shit! I don't know. I'm interested in not having these hiccups anymore. Anyway.
Oh shit!
That's what happens. Damn it. All right. Yeah, I like Baltimore. That game. Jeez, that sucks.
This is worse than Jay farting. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. Oh well.
All right, here we go.
All right. Next game. We got New England and New Orleans. I think it's gonna be a high-scoring game. I think it's over the 50s for the score total score. So good game. Got a couple interesting matchups in that game as well.
Both teams are 0-1, and that's what they shouldn't be at this point. So they're gonna come fighting.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep. They're gonna be at home in the Dome for New Orleans. So
Home in the Dome.
yep, Brandon Cooks facing his old team back in the Dome.
Yeah, but Patriots. I mean, Brady didn't do shit week 1, so
yeah.
I think he's gonna have at least 3 touchdowns, at least 3.
Yeah.
He's gonna come like just hitting the target.
He's gonna be hitting that target because he's the GOAT. All right, next game. I I'm interested in the Tampa Bay game a little bit because, you know... Whoa.
Jesus, that was a big one.
That was a big one. What do I do? Like, do I like take a beer and like chug it and then like turn it around? I mean, how does that work? Will I get it all over myself?
I don't know. I think you just need to punch yourself in the face. I think
Yeah,
if you
right.
punch yourself in the face, you'll be alright. Alright, so Buccaneers Bears. Well, what makes you interested in that game so much?
Not so much the Bears, obviously, but like
Yeah.
oh fuck.
How the Bucs are going to come out as their first week?
Yeah, it's at home and just after the hurricane, they had an extra week of rest to prepare. So.
Oh yeah, I think it's an absolute blowout for the Bucs. I think you're going to see all the weapons showing their guns like right out the bat because they had an extra week. I'm not sure what their practice schedule was for that extra week. I'm not sure where they were or what they did because Tampa got hit pretty damn hard. They might even still be under flood depending on that storm surge there. But I think they're going to come out just ready to fucking play, just kicking ass. I think they've got so many weapons this year. I think they're going to be a great year as opposed to last year, regardless. But they're playing the Bears. I think they're going to kick
You think they make the playoffs?
I haven't seen exact. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the divisions. I'm not exactly sure who's exactly in their division, but I think that they are a solid team, definitely going above 50% plus. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna have a solid team.
Well, we can take a look real quick.
Yeah, take a look at the division. That's one thing that I've always been a fan of teams. I've always been a fan of players. I've never paid attention to divisions at all. So we got the NFC South. Panthers,
They got a chance to
Falcons.
get the wild card.
Ooh.
Basically.
Yeah. Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Falcons, Buccaneers, Saints. That's a tough one. Yeah. Wild card. Like I said, it's Cam's comeback year. Falcons are coming from a fucking horrid Super Bowl loss that should not have happened ever. Yeah, that's a very tough division. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm a huge fan of the Buccaneers this year. I plan on attending plenty of games, but playoff wise, oof.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
I think they still capture the wild card. Just saying, my thoughts. Anyway,
It's like not going away.
I know. Forevermore.
No,
Anyway,
because you
come on.
didn't suit up.
I did suit up. I mean, I didn't wear a suit,
You
but I
didn't,
mean...
you didn't suit up. I asked you to suit
I'm
up. You
here.
didn't suit up.
Okay.
The one time I asked you to suit up. Trying to pick up some girls, man.
Yes.
Alright, let's go. Next one.
Alright, tell me your thoughts about the Dallas-Denver game.
That's the exact game that I picked out. I'm a Dallas fan. I'm also a Broncos fan. I'm not as much as the Cowboys. Cowboys, America's team. I've always been a fan.
Anymore.
No, they're still America's team. Fuck you.
No.
Yeah. Ugh. Flip a coin. I think that's going to be a great game. I'm rooting for the Cowboys, but Broncos have been solid. Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I would say flip a coin on that one. That's not a game I'd be betting on.
Okay. What are your thoughts on Seattle and San Francisco?
Oh, Seattle.
Yeah, heavy favorite, right?
I mean, it's San Francisco.
What about Green Bay and Atlanta?
Green Bay and Atlanta is a very, very